Yeah, sorry, I was starting the new recording. So, yeah, I think we're good now.
All right. Please share your screen.
Doing that now.
Okay.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can. Have you started the recording?
Yeah, I think I have.
You think?
I have.
Interested.
I have.
Okay. So, goddamn, it's like 8:10 right now, past 5 minutes. But anyways, good. Thank you guys for joining this session. Like this, it's a different session entirely. It's our first portfolio breakdown session, and I know everyone would like to learn how to create award-winning portfolio websites. All right, award with the three W's. So this is the right place to create that. But as I say from the beginning, my name is John Wright, and I'll be your host. I'm just a designer, and we'll be speaking with Isaac Fayemi, and he's going to break down Fayemi.Design. That is such a dope ass website name.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's your name, but
thank Shay for suggesting that.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Shay. So you can introduce yourself. I think people would love to know about you first before you jump into it.
Okay, there's a whole slide on that, so I think I'll just get into it.
Okay. Okay, all right then. So do you have fun?
Yeah. Welcome everybody, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and gays. So yeah, today we're going to be talking about how I made my portfolio website, basically, and how you can make yours too. These are the things we're going to be talking about. I'm going to talk about me first. I'm going to talk about templates, how you should start with a brief when you want to make a portfolio website to help you. To help you basically. How to do art direction, how to set rules for yourself, how to do explorations, how to make decisions, and then we'll just be going over like my outcomes after following all the steps, and then some closing notes, and then I'll answer your questions. Okay. So about me, my name is Isaac Fayemi. You can also call me Group 256 if you want. I'm a visual designer, art director. I'm the design director at Studio Null, which means I'm the only designer, but yeah. And right now I'm focused on designing websites because I love the web. Okay. About templates. Templates are great. They help you. Sorry, sometimes I'll just be reading the slides because, I took a lot of time to make these slides, so I'll just read them anyways. Templates are great. They help you get a portfolio website up and running in no time. A good template may even showcase your work in elegant and engaging ways. So why go through the stress of making a portfolio website from scratch? Why do you have to do all that? Bespoke portfolio websites, what I'll be calling like really custom designed and developed websites. These websites can help you showcase your projects in exciting ways that are unique to your work. They also allow you to infuse your personality and tastes, making the website itself a projection of your creative ethos. I know, that's very big words. When done right, a bespoke portfolio website can help you. You can set you apart from other creatives in your field. Not necessarily to say that you're better than them, but like it shows how different your work is from like other people's work. They charm your audience. They generate more leads, so like you get more clients reaching out to you from them than an average template website. You get recognition from big publications, sometimes even international, like awards or other guys that curate like cool websites. You also get bragging rights, and some other things I didn't include here is like you get this like really you get to create this really memorable experience, and it's a lot easier for people to describe your website. Like for example, when someone says that portfolio website that has the car that you can drive and like you can knock things over and it's orange, everybody knows that that's Bruno Simon's website. So when you make portfolios like this, there's just like a lot of advantages to it. So if you're convinced, stick with me and we'll talk about how we can make you one. Uh, so if you don't know how to code, Webflow is a great tool as a designer, that can help you get a website, a bespoke website up, even though you may need some code, but not as much as you would if you were just coding it with like HTML and CSS. Squarespace and ReadyMag also give you impressive results. In these tools, you start out with templates, but like you could delete those templates and like start from scratch, and they have like really impressive results again. A good number of developers will also code your website for free in exchange for design help. And if you can't be bothered with designing and developing a website from scratch, you can farm out the work to a web design studio or agency like Made by Null. Sorry, did I just call Null Made by Null? You can farm it out to like a studio like Studio Null, and we'll help you code and design it based on your specs, of course. Um, so I'll go creative project starts with a brief. Fayemi.Design was a self-initiated project, so the brief was mostly in my head. To be fair, and it might be in your head too, but it's always good to write down your brief. It's just a good practice so that you can always come back to it and yeah, basically know how well you're doing like based on the brief. Okay, I'll stop now. If I had put the brief in my head in writing, it will look something like this. So, project description will have looked something like this. I'm looking for new opportunities. I want an engaging and memorable portfolio website to showcase my work over the last 2 years and the groundwork for a visual identity that I can apply to my other projects related to my design practice. For objectives, I want enough leads to feed me for the next year. So I don't eat too much, maybe like $500,000 or something along those lines. Anyways, also get some recognition from acclaimed publications because free advertising. Um, audience. The audience I was really looking to get with my website was other creatives looking for visual design help on your project. So like they want someone to collaborate with to get them a website or something along those lines. They have an appreciation for out of the box ideas and unconventional executions. Messaging and tone. The website should communicate the work I enjoy doing and that I'm taking on new projects. I'm currently available for new projects and to make users feel like they can trust me to execute their briefs. Deliverables, fully functional website, of course, and a minimum viable visual identity. So, yeah, for myself. Stakeholders, me and Shay, because Shay was going to like develop the website. I knew that from the start. Budget, whatever it takes, as long as it stayed below 10k. 10k was what I was going to pay Shay if he had to charge me, but he didn't, thankfully, because I already designed his portfolio website and I'm going to design the next one. So he did it for free. Thank you, Shay. And $500 for fonts and other assets, whatever I may need. Once it's past 500, I wouldn't be able to afford it. Okay. Now about art direction. So the portfolio website exists in the world, overseen by D256, air quotes. In this world, I go by Group 256. The world and its aesthetics are a melting pot of my tastes across the arts. So basically, the website was inspired by my personal tastes, like the things I like. So like the kind of music I listen to, the artists I like, the shows I watch. Yeah, that mostly. So here we have The Weeknd, and Gessa, LSD, Swedish House Mafia, Basquiat, there's Kanye with his, was it Balenciaga mask? I'm not sure, I don't remember. There's Daft Punk, Santi and Odusi, my goats, and there's Sekino Sedai from Kroko. Anyways, moving on. So this was some stylescapes. This is a picture of Gesa Felstein from one of his live concerts, and you can see like his chrome suit. You can see the concert fog in the background. If you look at this closely, you can see some inspiration for the Look 256 playlist cover, and also the chrome head thing was mostly inspired by Gesa Felstein. Yeah. This is a Basquiat. I really enjoyed um, his work on Samo. Samo, I think it's Samo. Yeah, it was a series of like graffiti art he did across New York. If you remember, or if you have gone through my portfolio website, on the info page, like right at the end, there's this thing, like the thing you see at the end of at back of books where it says like Group 256 as an alternative to cookie cutter design solutions. So that was like a direct adaptation of this particular graffiti artwork, whatever. Then just some stylescapes from The Weekend. Initially, I was planning to get like a custom photo shoot, but I changed my mind last minute. It was going to be something along these lines. Um, and then other stuff, kind of music that inspired portfolio website. Stuff from Apache, The Weeknd, Daft Punk, Medion, Zoo, LSD, um, Ricky Ducati, Amon, French 79, Elderbrook, The Weeknd again, my goat. Um, I don't know if you can see it from here, but like basically the visual language of these album covers and like the vibes of the songs are like the things that inspired like the portfolio. Also, while it's great to take inspiration from experiences that aren't necessarily websites because they can give you like really original results, it also can be very beneficial to see how designers inspired by these experiences, like similar experiences to the one that you are inspired by, have designed websites. Some websites that inspired me are Mouthwash Studio. Um, if you have seen Mouthwash Studio's website, the work section, I literally took my work section from, like the structure of my work section is from there. Uh, yeah, Cathedral, Chrome Tattoo Paris. This was where I got the idea for the head thing, the 3D head right in the middle of the hero page from. John Way. From John Way, it was mostly copy, and I like how he presented himself as a designer really resonated with me. He was really big on this, like being a collaborative designer. So like on his own, yeah, as a designer, but the kind of work he wants to do, he wants to collaborate with other creatives or developers to like build amazing stuff. Um, and others too. Henrik, Sophia, Henrik and Sophia, Olympia.studio, and several others that we don't have space and time to talk about. If you want to, if you are curious about how I find these websites, um, I find them on sites like this. So there's awards. Awards is more like generic, cool stuff because like a lot of stuff does not make it to awards. But if you want more like eccentric, more like odd sites, you would want to go to somewhere like the Kenteke. They have like really nice. Um, there's this emphasis on typography which I really enjoy, and yeah, other stuff. There's minimal.gallery. They mostly showcase minimal websites. Um, yeah, there's Maxi Best.one. There's a lot of e-commerce stuff on there, landing pages as well. So if you're looking for something like that, you would find lots of that on Maxi Best stuff. Site Inspire has a bit of everything. Also, really cool selection. Hover States, those guys have the showcase like really interesting interactions that you won't find anywhere else. Um, Also, really cool stuff. There's got leader websites, and then something that's important is as you like go through these websites on a like occasionally, whenever you find something cool, it's always really helpful to like save them somewhere so that when you need them next time, you don't have to like go through awards again and open like 50 tabs looking for the one website that you saw that you don't remember the name again. So like if you have something like Arena, that's what I use personally. I anytime I see a site I like, I just save it. I tab them. I have portfolios, e-commerce websites, that kind of those kind of labels, right? And you just save your finds somewhere. It doesn't have to be Arena. For you, it could be Notion, it could be Pinterest. I don't know what people use, but yeah, you want to save things you find. For example, for my portfolio, I didn't start looking for like references when I wanted to start like working on it. I already knew what I wanted. I'd been keeping a mood board for like weeks, months, for a long time basically. So I knew what I needed when I wanted to start. Okay, we spent enough time here. Um, Another thing I really like to do when I'm designing a website like this is to set rules. Just like how in the world there are rules, right? Like there's physics and there's things that should not happen. Like if you throw something up, it should come down, and if it doesn't, then it feels wrong. Also, when you're making websites like this that you feel like experiences, you want to set rules so that the world feels like familiar to users, like they understand that this is how things behave, and they can navigate your site really without being too confused. It's also really helpful for you because when you set those rules, you design by those rules, so things look really cohesive. So some rules I set for myself on this project in general. Um, Branding should rely heavily on 256 lore. Use 2 raised to the power n-sided shapes for geometry, so basically shapes with even sides. Stay monochrome. If you must use color, use a fairy green. And the green, the choice of green was because apparently I had been using green a lot, and then someone asked me if that was my favorite color, and I said no. But then I found out that I've been using green on a lot of my projects, so I just decided like since I use it a lot anyways, let me just use it on my portfolio website, and I decided to stick to it. Typography, because um, one of my really strong suits as a designer is in my typography and my type work. I'm not really great at anything else as much as I am at typography. So I wanted to really flex that knowledge, mastery. I don't think I'm a master, but anyways, I wanted to really flex that. So I decided to use 3 or more typefaces, see how far I could push like the pairings and all that. If you're a badass motion designer, you can decide to flex on motion or something like that. Grid, I decided to use a 12 column grid on desktop, 1 column grid on mobile, really basic stuff. Um, for information hierarchy, I wanted to use a similar navigation style to the site I had and she had made for Corti earlier. Um, I just think it was a really interesting navigation style and it was quite popular. People liked it, so I just decided to stick with it. For work showcase, I decided going to have any. I was going to design for case studies yet. Like I'll design so that they could be added in the future, but not right now. So like I didn't have to think about it. Plus, I had not written any case studies, so why am I designing for them? I still don't have any case studies up to now, but don't tell anybody. Okay. Nice to have stuff to make the experience pop. Basically, things that I wanted to design for and work towards. A Spotify now playing feature, so people could see and listen to the very good music that I listen to. A 3D head model at the center of the page. I really wanted that. After I saw it on the Chrome Tattoo site, I thought it looked really cool. And then a smoke transition inspired by like concert smoke fog. Yeah. So these were my initial explorations. These were explorations for branding. I played around with um, different even-sided polygons, and then I arrived at um, this octagon style. Yeah, more on this later, basically. Then for the website, these were some initial explorations I went with. I was initially um, way like, cause okay, small backstory. This website took 7 months to design, on and off. So at the very start, I wanted a temporary portfolio, and then I would like go on to make something more robust much later. But that didn't happen. The lines blurred, so I just started iterating from like these temporary websites, um, pages to like the more defined one. So these are my explorations with typography here, and layout, and then I tried more stuff and more stuff. Here you can see the current navigation style already coming out. Also the Spotify now playing thing and the footer, other stuff that didn't make it. This was a an initial like exploration on um, how to present work, which I decided against. Um, Other explorations, I was thinking of having a contact thing, and then when you click it, you get a modal with like really interesting stuff. But yeah, that didn't work as well, so I binned it. And more of this looks more like the website that's live today. Um, yeah, until we arrived here. So this is basically like the lower part is basically the website right now, but like the navigation was tweaked a little. This was explorations for other pages, um, experimenting with how type looked here, um, more explorations, explorations for the typeface I was going to use. I tried um, Noya Montreal. I tried Vanilla. I tried some other typefaces I don't even remember at this point. I also tried this like pixel fonts from Pangram. That didn't work out. I also wanted to do this really like branded Lagos thing, and I used this downfall STD font from that design, but due to I just didn't have the skills to pull it off, so I binned that too. Um, yeah, more explorations basically before I settled on the current type system. Um, these were explorations for the 3D head that went in the. I experimented with like lighting the eyes, different textures, even though that's not really showing here. It's more different positions to the head, but yeah. And this was done in Blender, by the way. I used Blender, and there was this plugin that helps you like make quickly like generate lifelike um lifelike models of your face just by um inputting a few reference photographs. Like you had to do this sculpting by yourself. Not really sculpting, but you had to like move nodes around, but they did most of the heavy work. So yeah. Name of the plugin is Keen Tools if you're interested. Um yeah. These are explorations for the playlist cover that you see on the homepage. I was just going to rip off like an image of Àșà and just put it there, but I thought no, let's not do that. And then I came to this where I was going to use that image from I showed way back. But then I just thought I already have like a 3D model of my head. It's also Chrome. Um, I just decided to do something interesting with that, and we arrived at this is really close to what we have right now. And then explorations for the smoke. For the smoke, I tried different things. I first tried rendering it in Blender, and then I was stuck on it for like almost 2 weeks. I'll wake up and sleep on Blender, and still wasn't giving me any results. Then I reached out to Akin Theodox. Is that how to pronounce his name? And then he pointed me to John, and then I and John did some work together. We like fine tuned how it should work. We didn't end up using John's version actually, because we also ran into some issues with that. But like working with him made me understand what I wanted. So I just went over to Envato, if you're familiar with Envato, and I just purchased a black and white smoke pack, and I overlaid it with some color, and that's how I achieved that smoke effect. Uh, so yeah, after the explorations, I had to make decisions, right? Um, just checking to see if we're still on time. So I chose to set up in the Swiss font family because of my like earlier rule to use more than three or more typefaces. I decided to use the condensed, serif, sans serif, and the mono versions of the font. So pairing them wasn't going to be an issue because they were literally from the same font family. They were designed to be used together. But the issue was making like using them in a way that wasn't annoying or obtrusive to the user, but instead having like a making it work like a system to navigate the site, right? So I chose to use the serif for interactive text, like text on buttons, links, the mono for labels, the condensed for titles and for body copy that I didn't necessarily need to be legible because I understand that the condensed font can be a mess to read, especially the way I used it. And then the sans serif for when I wanted text to be really legible to the user, like I really wanted them to read that. So this is a system of how I used the serif fonts. For example, you can say here on the navigation because like this is supposed to be like your thing you click to go back home. This also just in case you didn't get that. Um, this to like open to show that like you can click on like the work, and this to show that the button is clickable. So I mean there's no actual manual, but like once you use it once somewhere and then you see like there's a pattern, it should be start to be a little more intuitive for you to use. That was like the thought process behind it. And then for monofonts I use them um along with this like octagonal thing I did. So like I encase them in this octagonal frame, and then like for titles, I just like put that octagon on top of like whatever text I wanted to title, if that makes sense. So I used the monofonts for that, and they were really super useful because monofonts have like a constant width, so I didn't have to make different frames for different text. Like if I needed to do like a frame for like a three-letter word, that frame would work for another three-letter word. It wouldn't work the same way if I had used another font. Yeah, I hope this is useful information for you guys. Then how I use the condensed fonts, um, I use them for titles, um, and then I use them for like just secondary information really. Uh, yeah, and then when I wanted text to be legible and super readable, I used the sans serif Swiss International. um yeah, you can see here I use the condensed font. I mean, yeah, this stuff is like useful and you can decide to read it, but like it's not the main point. It's not the main point of the info page. I want you to get to know me, so this was treated as secondary information. For identity I chose to use the octagon, even though like you've already seen that, but like I chose to use it because it's 256 is 2 raised to power 8, right? And the octagon has 8 sides, so why not? And also, octagons are really beautiful and they are underused in brand identity, if you ask me. For the logo mark, I just overlaid and I overlaid the octagon I had chosen with like a 4 point star, and I rounded the inner corners for some balance. And if you think about it, the 4 point star is literally just an octagon with these corners crushed in. So wait, is it corners crushed in? Yeah, corners crushed.
Isaac,
Huh?
Isaac, I'm sorry to cut you short, but I want to find out if the session is still recorded.
Yes, it is.
Okay then. Carry on. I'm enjoying it though. It's lovely. Amazing.
Great, happy to hear that. Kind of doubting myself here, boy. Okay. Yeah, and then more decisions. Because like the whole vibe of the website was monochrome, right? It was basically like shades and tints of green. I decided to like also edit the photos I put on the site, at least photos of myself, to have like a green tint so they blended in with the color scheme. And this was the final result. This is the final homepage. This is what I sent to the developer. Also, what is live, because she's really good at what it does. It's literally pixel perfect. So yeah, this is live. This is the live screens, homepage, the work page, the info page, error page, no, fall for error page, error fall for page. Yeah. The secret 256 page. And yeah. If you will be, that's all I'm going to show you. So like to close out, if you'll be outsourcing the development of your site, you want to be sure to document your animations, interactions, whatever decisions you make, basically that are outside just layout. You want to tell them exactly how you want it to be. So for me, I'm not a prototyping whiz. I don't even know how to use After Effects. That tool literally scares me. But what I do is I make sure, if I can, I write out like a nice document explaining all the things I've done, giving all the values. Or if not, because most times I and she work side by side, like it's literally sitting across from me. So like I just point at the screen and I'm like, nah, that doesn't look right. I've used this value, that kind of thing. So you just want to find some kind of way to communicate with your developer because they don't know. Yeah. And if you leave them to guess, you know what happens. So you want to tell them exactly how you want things to look, how you want things to move. And yeah. The web is amazing thanks to the hard work of really smart people. You can build out almost any kind of digital experience you can imagine. You just have to keep an open mind. There are libraries out there for anything you want to do, almost anything. Like, do you want 3D? There's 3JS. Do you want sound? There's like libraries to handle sound. Many things. Literally, you're literally just limited by your imagination. And then originality is a myth. Steal from anywhere that resonates with you or fuels your imagination. Films, music, books, paintings, photographs, posters, architecture, and a quote I pulled from the internet. Jean-Luc Godard said, "It's not where you take things from; it's where you take them to." Really smart guy. Yeah, for me, where I take inspiration from, as you might have seen already, is music. I just think like music is this really nice intersection where like all the arts come into play. So like there's everybody knows like there's music for a certain vibe, right? And music gives off a certain vibe. So if music gives up, if you find a song that gives off a certain vibe, you look at the art cover, it would also follow that same vibe. If you look at like the music video, it would also follow that vibe. So like from the vibe that you can tell that the music gives, you would also like be able to see like visual work that follows that vibe, if that makes sense. So that's one of the ways I understand what visual language to use for what vibes. Yeah. So yeah, that's it from me. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for listening to me ramble. I hope this inspires you to treat yourself to a smashing website to showcase your beautiful work. If you need me, you can reach out to me at Isaac at Fayemi.Design, and I'll be taking questions now. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah.
Can hear you. Can hear you. Isaac.
Yeah, I'm done, guys.
Okay, amazing stuff, man. Amazing.
So I'm taking questions now if you have any.
Okay. Go ahead. Or okay, thank you so much. Isaac, amazing stuff, man. I really enjoyed the way you explained things and the way you broke down your website. Really, really amazing stuff. Thank you so much. Yeah, so I'm really curious in terms of building one's knowledge on art directions. I saw a post where a guy quoted Sheyi and he posted an award book or course. So I want to know from your own side of things, what course or book can one read to like help someone build his or her knowledge on art directions and stuff. I know most of this has to do with how creative you are, but like there should be a book or course that will push you into the right direction, into understanding what one is getting into. Can you please recommend stuff like that?
So personally for me, what was like the starting point of my art direction, especially on websites, was this course by Bruno Aritio. It's on awards as well. I think that course is really worth it. I'm not sure what the name is. Let me try to see if I can pull it up real quick. But there are also other great courses. I've heard the one by Nicolo Miranda is good. And really, you just have to take one of these courses, like especially on art direction. Yeah, okay. It's called Creating Epic E-commerce Experiences for Brands: An Advanced Guide by Bruno Aritio. Yeah, that site really changed how I thought about like art direction, especially for the web. So I highly recommend it. Apart from that, it's really a lot of just like looking at websites, looking at work every day, and like saving them. And yeah, thanks Alaba for putting that in the chat. And saving them somewhere. So like whenever I need to work on a project that needs a certain kind of reference, I already have it saved somewhere, so I just pull it up. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you so much. Because I got one that has to do with explaining how to embrace contemporary trends and create
yeah,
awards.
by Creative Nights.
Yeah. By Creative Nights.
And that's also a cool course. Yeah, it's a great place to start.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Okay. Yes, please, John.
Okay. Yeah. So so there's website and there's designing an experience, right? What is your process when I know you broke down your portfolio process and everything, but I noticed that there's a difference to how people approach designing, let's say, an information website, right? And your portfolio is more like a visual experience. So what was going through your mind when you were creating this visual experience? Because obviously I'm not going to your site to check out your projects. I'm going to your site to experience your website, like the smoke effect, everything just clicks.
Please check out my projects. I'm sending
and
you
I
up.
think and I think there's music also. I think there's some sound design. I'm not sure because I was seeing some Spotify stuff there. Yeah. So like what goes through your mind when you're creating this visual experience than creating a normal site, information website? It's a very big question,
Yes,
but
it is. I'll try to explain.
all right.
So, I mean, for information dense websites, most of the time you obviously don't want to take the risk of making things too confusing for your users, because like you'd have users from like all age ranges and stuff like that. But for when you want to make an experience, like you already know who your audience is, you're sure it's going to be fine with them, or at least it should be, like you don't care if it is fine with them or not. So for my portfolio, I don't know, should I explain my portfolio? We already went through that. But yeah, I already explained what my considerations were, what I wanted, and why I wanted them. Um, John, am I answering your question, please?
No, you're not. You're not actually.
Can you pull me back on track? Thank you. I think I lost my train of thought.
Okay, so let me break it down
Okay,
properly.
yes, please.
So there's storytelling in
Okay.
your website. Yes.
Oh, okay. So
And yes, okay. So from there.
so how do I handle storytelling? Okay.
Yes.
So again, like as I mentioned, the website takes place in this world where it's headed, it's headed by the 256. There's just something I made up from group 256, and there's um so right in my head I have this um I have it all planned out in my head, right? I know how I want the website to feel like based on my inspiration and all that. Like I said, I wanted the like smoke to be there, so like the user feels like they're in a rave or something, like what you get from concert smoke. And then the chrome head is from other like electronic music performers and all that. So like I was trying to give this atmosphere that like you're like in a kind of rave, and it's an electronic music rave. And then there's a loop to 5060 electronic playlist for that, and then there's also my Spotify now playing, which is most likely going to be an electronic song. So like all those tiny elements are supposed to come together, and the user is supposed to experience them however they like, however that resonates with them is fine. But I don't like to make my experiences too rigid. So I just like I take elements from like what I want the story to be, and I just throw them on the website, and then leave the users to make sense of it. So for some people it might feel like a rave, some people it might feel like something else, which is fine. The girlies that get it will get it.
Okay.
Does that answer your question, John?
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Thank you so much. There's a question in the chat box. It's from Mano. It said, how do I get to the Easter egg page, please, boss?
Just type 256 on your laptop.
Okay. So two people are raising up their hands. Olani and Badejo. Please, anyone should go. Just anyone that thinks fast.
Hello?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey Olani.
Hello? Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for this session. I really enjoyed it. So, my question is working with developer on the type of on your art direction. It's different from the other type of website we see on a daily basis, which is the normal what's the cosmetric website and everything. So like getting developers to I'm not talking about Sheyi for now, because I know Sheyi is like one of the gold when it comes to something like that. So I really ever like work with another developer that you needed to explain your art direction. How did you explain, and how did they get to do it for you in the way you are pleased?
So I think one thing that's important, like right from the jump, is to get someone on board that understands like the importance of having a website as an experience. Someone that actually cares, like they know like they understand why you want your website to be like just to be different from other websites and not just like a blank like generic website. Once you have a developer like that and they are on board with what you're trying to build, it's a lot easier than getting the developer that normally works on like generic stuff and then trying to convert them to come and make an experience for you. It will most likely end in tears. So I have I worked on with I think I've worked with other developers in the past. It's mostly a lot of back and forth really. Um you obviously want to explain like what you're doing, you want to document your decisions and all that. But then, even like the most skilled developers will get it wrong sometimes. So you just have to be comfortable with like going back to them, giving them your feedback. And since they're like on board and they're committed to the project and they're committed to your vision, they would try their best to make it work how you want it. I think.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. What about what's it called? What do you feel about a developer trying to come on board like to this type of creative coding and everything,
Okay.
or like has no experience? I don't know. Maybe she is on this thing. Maybe you can answer that.
Yeah, she is in the best position to answer it. I tried to learn development myself. When I saw what was involved,
Same.
I
Same.
said, OTU. Yeah, Shay, please come and answer. He's here, right?
What's
here.
the question?
He said for a
Okay.
developer that wants to
Hey,
learn
what-
creative coding.
Oh, for a developer that wants to learn creative code.
Yes, the so let me explain very well. What's it called? Resources are limited when it comes to creative development, and what's it called? For a developer, a SAPA-driven developer, that needs to learn, that wants to learn how to do that. How will you go about it?
Like Isaac said, first you need like passion, man. Like it's insanely important. Creative development is not just, oh, I just want to design, I just want to build a landing page and then leave. Like you need to actually be passionate about it. That is very important. Then second, you need to actually dig deep for resources. Like you said, it's not easy. Like resources are really hard to come by, so you have to really, really dig deep for resources. And then three, just experiment a lot. In my Visual Studio Code, I probably have like about 30 explorations, not like full websites, but like maybe sections of websites that I saw and I wanted to recreate. They're just like things that I explored with, and generally, yeah, it takes time to learn, man, I swear. And then just practice, I swear. Like those are the things that I always do. Like right now, I've been trying to look into shaders and WebGL, and like I've been watching tutorials, and like it's just not working. And I realized the best way, for me, is actually to just jump into it and actually work on the project. So until I worked on Isaac's portfolio, I didn't really work with shaders. There's one other landing page I worked on too. I didn't know anything about shaders until I started working on it. So yeah, just don't be afraid to jump into it. For resources, I will join this meeting now, and then I'll just share a chat. I'll just share a link to resources that a guy made. His name is Toby, and they are actually really, really good resources.
Sorry, if I may ask, is it like free? Thank you.
Some of them are free, some of them are paid. So the thing is, like, you have to. Since, like you said, these courses are scarce anyway, so to even find something that's good, you have to pay. Like, there's a course on awards by Bizarro. That one is.
Sorry to cut you short,
Yeah.
but like there are lots of people that are raising up their hands. So
And you're going on and on about dev.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I think he will just paste
Can I ask this question?
the link in the chat. Yeah, we'll get to you about it.
all right.
I have
Okay.
one question. It's from Mr. Àșà.
Oh,
Can I
okay.
go on?
Yeah, please.
Good, nice presentation. I really appreciate it. But my question is mostly directed to Mr. Shehu, and I'm glad that he's on this meeting too.
I'm sorry,
Personally,
like, this is
Mr.
not. This is supposed to be a design. This thing. No, I don't want to take the last one.
Well, I know my question is just going to be very brief. I'll make it very
This is
brief.
the last
Okay.
one I'll take, by the way.
Because
please.
I'm really impressed by the design and the website. Personally, for now as a developer, myself, such websites really impresses me. I'm someone that personally I'm also learning 3JS, but I noticed something after going through the code of the website. I noticed that most of the codes were written like by hands, not using any modern frameworks like React or Next.js that most people do. My question now is that, was that intentional? Though I know it's good for SEO, but was it intentional or just something, a decision?
The thing is,
that
if you're writing in vanilla JS, it gives you flexibility. I'll give you an example. Last month I was working on one pre-page transition type thing with Nuxt, and I had to literally dig into Nuxt's code base, like the actual Nuxt code base, to see what they did and kind of redo it myself, because they did it in a way that that just wasn't really the best, and you could not really extend. So I had to build my own version of. So if I was using vanilla JS, that would have been perfectly done, because vanilla JS gives you it gives you any amount of flexibility. Like, you don't need any page transition library. You don't need, if possible, say you might not need green sock. There's some projects I've worked on that I did not need green sock for.
Yeah, you guys wrap it up.
Yeah,
Thank you.
vanilla JS one. But yeah, I think that's all the questions I'll take. Sorry.
Thank you.
Design questions.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Please, designers, let's get back our session.
Hi, Isaac. Can you hear me?
Um,
Hi, can you hear me?
yes, I can. After this, I'll take questions in the chat.
For
I can hear you.
for your presentation today, I think it was really, really insightful and great, basically amazing. So my question is, I don't know if I got you correctly when you started the presentation, but you said your target audience for your portfolio were designers, basically people that were that wanted to check out the creative and they just wanted to check the experience of your portfolio, not necessarily what's it called, clients or what's it called, or people that will get you jobs. Am I right? So I wanted to ask, how do you get to strike a balance between being fully creative, like going all out, and being all creative? Oh geez.
Okay.
I think my network.
So I don't think you heard me correctly. What I said was the target audience was other creatives, not necessarily designers, that were looking to collaborate with me on their projects. So the ideal person for me, the ideal target audience would be someone like for example, an industrial designer that's working on like a furniture collection, and they want somebody to work on a website for them, or like a videographer or something like that. So I'm saying I want my clients to be other creative people, basically, not designers.
Oh,
Also,
absolutely.
also, how do I find a balance? The thing is, if you if you if you go out like if you go out searching for normal clients and then trying to pitch like web experiences to them, you mostly always get burned. It doesn't end well, because like you're trying to sell them something they don't want. And even like if you like go follow through and it's like the best work you've ever made, it's not something that works for them most of the time. So don't do that. Follow your client's brief, really. If they want a generic website, please give them that. Especially if like that's what will be best for their business and their customers. So like I have noticed that. So what the kind of clients I'm looking for now are creative people that want the kind of services I offer. So I don't have to like force my design opinions on like, a client that doesn't necessarily agree with them. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Okay. So I want to read the questions in the chat box before we go to the next.
I can see them. I was going to take them anyways. Should I just?
Yeah. So please read them first because we're recording. Then
Yeah.
you can now answer them.
So I think the first question here is from Jeremiah Folorenshaw. Please tell me if I missed anyone before that. It says, "Great work, man, for your expertise in typography. How did you build that aspect? Probably some references to researches, videos, and all." So it all started by watching Chris Doe's course on typography. I'm not sure what it's called. I think Typography 101. So yeah, that course changed how I think about typography basically. And then after that, I don't think I ever had to. I mean, there's great books on typography. Ask anybody, they'll recommend like the best books to you. I don't have them on my head right now because I'm not really a book guy. Unfortunately, I'm illiterate. But I basically like I picked up like my understanding of typography from watching that course, applying like what I learned in that course, um, looking at other people's work, um, trying to replicate it, and yeah, that's how I picked up expertise in typography. Sorry, not a lot of helpful stuff there. I hope I answered your question. Um, Next question by P Solomon. I'm not sure you talked about how you worked on your website copy and information architecture, but can you shed more light on your process? Okay, so um, what I like to do is it's easy to get carried away when you're designing an experience, and that's an issue I have with a lot of other like experience websites. A lot of them get like really carried away, and at in the end, as the end user, you just don't understand what like the person was trying to pass across copy wise. Like you feel the vibes, you feel the experience, but like it's not, the dots don't connect. So what I like to do, or what I aim to do in most of my work, is to make sure like the experience reads right. And how I do that is I think of like what I want the page to communicate. I imagine like if this website didn't have any text, any images, any videos, nothing. Did I say it didn't have any text? Sorry. If you didn't have any like extra information, if you just had to be text, how would I structure this website? For example, if this website was a document, how would I structure that? And then I have that rough outline. In fact, most times I do it on Figma, like it's right beside the artboard, and then I write everything, and then I just like think like as I'm brainstorming like the layout, I'm keeping those considerations in mind. And another thing that is another tip is uh, to know that websites have like at any given time you're always looking at the 100 VH version of a website. So I like to design my websites in like VHs, if that makes sense. So for a MacBook, for example, 100 VH is 820. So I like to design it so that like for every 100 VH that you're looking at, you get like a how would I put this? For every 100 VH that you're looking at, I like to make sure like the information that you're seeing checks out and it reads right. So like you know how like the rules of how information English should be read, for example, is left to right, top to bottom. I try to make sure that like no matter what I'm doing design wise, I don't break those rules, and like you should still be able to like read the website right. For information architecture, yeah, a lot of those things apply. Also, I just like um look at the content that needs to go on the website, um organize it really. I just know like what should go in what group, what things do I have to stick together, um in like what things I have to group together, what things should be separate from each other. And yeah, I hope that answers your question. Please let me know you have if you still have any concerns. um for me, Oladapo says, how did I start out in visual design? It's a very long story. um I started with Photoshop. I was doing flyers, and then I moved to Figma. I started working on apps, and then started working on websites, and here I am now. Yeah. Those are all the questions, right, John?
Yes. Some people were raising up their hands. I don't know. I think if you guys have any question, like, you can raise up your hand. The session is almost done. This is like an interactive part. Taking a walk. But anyways, you can speak. And also, before anyone speaks, I just want to say, I'm going to share a link, right? It's the feedback form and our social links. So if you like this session, you know what to do. Give us some feedback, like Uber, 5 stars, Then also, we would make it as fast as possible to release the recording. I know everyone has been asking for a recording of previous sessions, but this time we'll do you guys a solid and try to figure it out. So Isaac, you can stop recording and we can just have a talk all together.
Okay. I think I'll just answer like the last few questions in the chat, and then we'll chat. Then we'll talk.
All right. All right, Tom.
This person says, Ola Pigba Olaifa, I hope I got that pronunciation correctly, says, would you say you've mastered the formula of winning on awards? I don't think so. I just try to do great work and I hope he wins. And we've only won one side of the day. It's not that we've become serial winners. But yeah, I think there's a certain quality of work that you do that even if you don't win on awards, you get recognition from like other publications as well. So it's really just about the quality of work, not about winning on awards specifically. Peter Lawrence says, is it useful to learn Photoshop and illustration to complement UI UX? Yes, it can be. If you know how to make like illustrations, it definitely makes you more valuable to like a company or a client as a UX designer. But I personally like I'd say they're useful skills to have, but like you shouldn't get too hung up on like learning a software, how to use a software. For example, I'm like my proficiency Blender is 0, but yeah, I was able to like cough out that 3D model that went on my website. So sometimes you would need something to like you don't have to worry yourself to like learn entire tools, but sometimes you would need them to make something, and it's totally fine to just like watch a couple of tutorials to achieve what you want to achieve and get out. You don't have to be like a master of everything. Yeah, so I think that's it. I'll end the recording now.